Welcome back, Rangers fans, to our weekly midweek coaches show. As we do each week, we recap what's happened over the last 7 days in Smithson Valley Athletics, and then look ahead to what's coming up in the next week, and really as we transition to the Christmas holidays, what's going on over the break. This show will take a break during the Christmas break, so Coach Miller in a little while will kind of talk you through the entire Christmas schedule, and then we'll reconvene with this show come January. But as we always do, we lead off the show talking about our football season, which is extended once again. Last Friday night, we had a big 49-21 win in a state semifinal game against Brownsville Veterans Memorial, which has now afforded the Rangers a chance to return to the state finals or the state championship game this Friday up in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. So as we do each week, we'll kind of recap that before we go to the other sports, and then we'll come back after Coach Miller's segment and talk about this state championship game, who we've got, and a little bit about it. But let's go back first. Last Friday night, we played Brownsville Veterans Memorial, as we said, on a neutral site at Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi, Texas. A beautiful night for football. Unseasonably warm December night. You know, we were in short sleeves, which normally you don't get to do that in December. But we got off to a big start and had 35-0 at the half, soon to be 49-0, and allowed us to play all of our players in a semifinal game. That's certainly usually not possible, but I thought one of the keys to victory that we said last week was getting off to a hot start, and we were able to do that. And I think our defense had a big part of that because Coach Westford, as we said, they ran an unusual offense that, if you're not careful, can hog the ball and keep it all night. A run-oriented option offense like you see the Navy and Army games. You know, if you watch them, that's kind of what they ran. Our defense stepped up, though, and thwarted them.
Really proud of our kids. I mean, you know, we talked about it last week, being assignment-oriented, and everybody has a job to do, and you're going to have to make some individual tackles, but still populate the football. And I thought our kids did a really good job of that. They were locked in and focused all week, and you know, had a great week of practice. And the kids went out there and executed the plan extremely well.
Right, no doubt. And, you know, they had feasted on not just ball control, but explosive runs and explosive passes when you commit everybody to the run. And by and large, took care of that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, especially early through the game when we had the fast start. Did a great job of stopping the run, not letting them have the explosive run. They did get a couple of first downs in there, right. But we didn't let them have the 50, 60-yard run that they've been accustomed to getting. And then the secondary did a really good job of locking down and not giving up the deep pass.
Yes.
And, you know, letting them have an explosive play that way.
And then, you know, the offense got off to a big start. I think we scored the first 7 times that we had the football, touchdowns going into the second half. And that got them behind. And that style of offense, playing catch up and having to throw it all the time, not really what they do.
No, that's not what they really want to focus on. So that was huge. You know, the offense keeping the ball, moving down, scoring quick. You know, then we'd go out and get a stop, had a big punt return.
Yes.
Diego did, and, you know, got a turnover in one of those, got some good field position things for the offense. And offense, like you said, capitalized, and then they were really playing behind the 8 ball, you know, from the pretty quick.
Right. Well, field position is big. You mentioned the punt return got us down to the 9-yard line. The offense scored, only had to go 9 yards to do it. After an interception, I think they had a 21-yard field. So didn't often have to drive far to score. But offensively, Coach Hill, we seem to be clicking on all cylinders there early.
Yes, sir. And you mentioned the hot start, the first 7 possessions. We scored 7 touchdowns. And that was a big point of emphasis for us after last week when, no surprise, or not surprise, it was obvious we had a slow start in the round 4 game against A&M Consolidated. Right. This all week our kids really wanted to come out and have a hot start, and they were locked in, and they did just that. You know, the first drive of the game, Freddie DeBose took a sweep about 45 yards and got us into the plus territory, and Brad Soursby punched it in, and that kind of got the ball rolling from there. You know, we were pretty efficient in the quick game, and Daniel DeHoyos came in and ran the ball really well for us. Last Friday night, scored a couple of touchdowns, and Cole Freund had a hat trick. He scored 3 touchdowns, had 2 little shovel forward passes, if you will, that he scored on. And first play of the second half, he went 75 on reverse.
Yeah, we had, you know, a 35-0 lead at the half, and then on the first, you know, they kicked off to us, and then on the first play, we go 75 yards on a fullback reverse, and he scores. And if they had a glimmer of hope, that probably ended it. And kicking game was huge. Clay Amaya made all of his extra points, had a great game kicking. We had some great kickoff coverage. We had a couple of big punt returns. I mean, we did the things that you have to do to win a semifinal game, and we did do that. And in our 7th time in school's history, we played in the semifinals. We won the game, and now that affords us the chance for the 4th time in our school's history to play in the state championship game. And that game is this Friday at AT&T Stadium up in Arlington, where the Cowboys play. And at 7 o'clock, we'll be playing the Aledo Bearcats, who are certainly no strangers to state championship games. I mean, everybody who follows Texas high school football knows about them and their traditions. So we'll talk about that game as soon as we get back. But first, we're going to toss it to Coach Melissa Miller. She's our assistant athletic coordinator. She's going to talk about what has happened and what is going to get ready to happen in the rest of our sports that are going around campus right now. So take it away, Coach Miller.
Thanks, Coach Hill. What a game on Friday night.
Yeah, that was unreal.
Unreal.
What stands out
Oh
to
my
you?
goodness.
Like when you think back to Friday night, what is your core memory?
I think the energy coming from the stands and just the amount of people that were there. And I think the anticipation of, oh my gosh, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the game to get us to the game.
Yeah.
Still have some work to do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, Coach Hill will tell you.
Yeah.
I think it's watching the focus everyone has
Yeah.
because as you said, the energy and everything was so big, but Coach Hill and his staff do such a great job of keeping those boys focused.
Yes.
You would have thought it was just another game for
Yeah.
them. And it was just so fun to be a part of and so much fun to watch, and the fans and the student section and the band and spirit, dance
Yeah.
down there in the
Yeah.
end zone. I have chills talking about
Yeah.
it right now. I think it was a night nobody will forget.
It was, yes.
Hoping to
It was
recreate
different
it
having
this
the
Friday.
band down there in that
It
section,
was.
right? But I think those kids really enjoyed it because
Yeah.
it got them
I went down and talked to them.
engaged
They
and
felt
were
like they were in it.
yes,
They had great seats. They
yes.
were right there in the end zone for our first 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty exciting. So we will talk a little bit more coming up about what's next for football.
Right.
But we also had some really big wins across all of our other sports. So Friday night girls basketball also played, finished up their preseason with a huge win
Big win.
over New Braunfels.
Big win.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
always a little bit of a rivalry game. So girls won 60-54. That finishes preseason for them. I think that's a perfect launching point into district. So really happy for Coach Sutherland and those girls. Boys basketball last week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday went to the Churchill Classic. Ended up in second place, went 2-1. So they had huge wins over MacArthur and Churchill, and then a tough 8-point loss to a big 6A Stevens Falcons. Coach Thornton was really happy with the weekend, how it went. They still have a couple more preseason before they move into district. And then speaking of preseason, girls soccer started also Friday night, also against New Braunfels. Coach Atkins, lost a lot from his team last year, so was really looking forward to seeing what this team had. And they pulled it out. They had a 4-3 win over New Braunfels, which is a great
Nice.
start to their season. It is technically just a scrimmage, but as a former coach,
good,
I
right.
mean, it's good
Yes.
for the morale.
Yes.
It's good. So proud of them for that 4-3 win. And then wrestling is in high gear and went to Piper last week, Thursday and Friday, for the Piper Duel. Boys and girls both went 6-1, both brought home second place finishes, had a ton of kids that went undefeated on the weekend, so really, really proud. They continue to do wonderful, great things in wrestling. Speaking of wonderful and great, let's talk about our student and teacher of the week.
Well, let's talk about that. But before we get to that, can you explain to us what's going on with this lovely flower
yeah,
arrangement we
so
have
let's give a
here
little
at
shout out.
Christmas?
So last night, volleyball had our end of the year banquet, one of my favorite nights of the entire season. And we actually had our floral design kids down in our ag department do the floral arrangements, and you would have never known that they were not $100 professionally done, but they are beautiful. They were the highlight of the night. Luckily, I got to take a couple home. I mean, they smell
They
like
smell
Christmas.
fantastic,
They look like
yes.
Christmas. So huge shout out to everybody down in our ag department, floral design. I know they provide a lot for Miss Donna Moore down in athletics. We prefer to use them over anybody, and you can see why.
They do a really great job.
Yeah. So
They do
shout
a
out
really
to
great
them.
job.
Yes.
Yes, shout out to them. And a shout out to our students of the week, our student athletes of the week, our football team. We are very excited about our events this week and the competition coming up and all the events surrounding it, which we'll get to a little bit more in a minute. Our teacher of the week this week is Miss Newsom. Ms. Newsom challenges herself to be a better teacher every year. For example, she looks over her AP scores and breaks them down to pinpoint areas exactly where her students need to improve. She takes targeted action, works hard at implementing new strategies, and her students experiences greater success as a result. Her mindset is on student growth, and we're grateful that she is a Ranger. Great job, Ms. Newsom.
Yeah, and while we're giving out some shout outs and some congratulations, on the athletic side, there is no one more deserving this week than Miss Donna Moore. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting Miss Moore, she is our athletic secretary, who really kind of does it all.
Yes,
That
she
is
does.
such an under.
Yes, she does.
That title doesn't do her justice.
Yes.
At this point, she is running logistics on tickets, passes, hotel rooms, getting the boys there, the logistics of staying there, feeding the boys. I mean, her job is endless. And if you see her this week, you're still going to get a smile, but it's going to be as she sprints by you to go do whatever her
Yes,
next job
yes.
is. And there, I mean, she's just an unsung hero in the athletics world on this campus. And her job amplified by about 1,000 this week, but you won't hear her complain. She loves those boys, loves those coaches, and would do anything that she can to help them this week.
Yes, and it's so many details go
So
into
many.
planning, and she just takes care of every little thing.
Yeah.
So we're really proud of you, Ms. Moore.
Thanks, Miss Moore.
Yeah. We also want to highlight our front office staff because our front office staff is very busy as well with all of the movement on campus. Ms. Rankin on our subs, Ms. Dixon working through our front office areas, Ms. Little in the reception area, everybody in the front offices and our student services, just handling the movement with kids and different arrangements and planning for a different schedule. It takes a lot of work. So we really want to give a shout out to our front office staff this week.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody. None of this stuff that is happening this week could happen without anybody. Teachers' support, encouragement to their kids, final schedule changing. I mean, it's just been a lot, and I think overall everybody has handled it beautifully. But let's talk about this coming week. You can't not talk about it. So there are going to be some changes in our athletic schedules because of the football game Friday night. So I want to make sure we put those out there. Girls basketball starts district tonight versus Tybee. So if you're looking for a chance to help them start off their district season, they will be here at Smithson Valley at 6:30 versus Tybee. Sub-varsities will play before that at 5. They do have a change to their schedule. They were originally scheduled for their second district game against Seguin on Friday in order to allow as many students to experience the state experience as possible. They've gone ahead and moved that. Huge thanks to Seguin for agreeing to that to Saturday. So the girls' second district game will now be at Seguin High School Saturday at 3:30. JV and freshmen will play at 2. Another change to our schedule has been boys basketball. Their game for Friday night against TMI has been moved to Saturday also. Thank you to TMI for agreeing to that. It will be at the same time. So Saturday night, 7 o'clock for varsity, 5 o'clock for, 5:30 for JV and freshmen, still at TMI on Saturday, again, giving more of our students the opportunity to experience this weekend. Wrestling on Saturday will be at the Hill Country Invite at Vista Ridge High School, so they'll be making the trip up there. Safe travels and good luck to them. And then we've got one more scrimmage for girls soccer before they start preseason, so if you're looking to see them, you can go tonight. They take on Warren High School at Northside ISD's Ferris Stadium. That is the one on 1604. Varsity plays at 7, and JV will be before that. And then kicking off boys soccer, they were also supposed to be Friday night, a scrimmage versus Southside. Huge shout out to Southside for agreeing to move that scrimmage to Saturday. However, the location did change. We will host that scrimmage here now at SV. Varsity will be at 1:30 and sub-varsity will be before that. So a lot of changes. Just keep up to date with our social media. We'll post all of this. Coaches have communicated it. So we're just excited that every student is now going to have the opportunity, if they want, to go experience Friday night.
Yeah,
Let's
really grateful for all the moves. It's
Yeah.
a lot of logistics to work out on that end as well.
And our coaches have always wanted to. It's just making sure the other schools can accommodate
Right.
us, and
Right.
so thank you to all of the schools that we're playing for
Yes.
agreeing to give our kids that opportunity.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Friday night.
Friday night.
Oh no, let's talk about tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we are having a pep rally. So we are going to honor our football team, but we are also going to honor all of our other groups who have made it to state and have been honored with getting to a state competition this year. A couple groups yet
Yeah.
to come
Yeah,
with
so we'll
theirs.
we'll have a performance by our state band.
Yep.
We'll talk about our debate team who's heading to state in January. We will talk about our ROTC air rifle team who's qualified for state also this weekend. And then we will kind of highlight our state cross country qualifier, Mia Perez. So really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be different. Huge push for our community to get out. It's going to be at Ranger Stadium, which I think could be a really cool environment.
Yes, it will be.
We've got seating, planned. Parents and community, you're going to get that middle seating. Get there. Pep rally is scheduled to start at 3:50. We are going to go ahead and open the stadium at 3 so that we can get you guys in before the students are released from class.
And
what
we
else?
are working on a rain plan, and
Yeah.
we know there is rain in the forecast, so we do have plans to move into the gym.
We
if
will still
need
have a
to
pep
do that.
rally.
Yes.
And
yes.
if it needs to be live streamed, but again, we'll communicate all of
Right.
that info to you as soon as we make that decision. So let's pray for good weather.
Yes, yeah. So, exciting week coming up, and then we've got the game on Friday.
I mean, yeah, the focus of all
there.
of this. Obviously, they play at AT&T Stadium, 7 o'clock, versus Alito, who's about 30 minutes away, I think, from the stadium. So we're really hoping for a good Ranger turnout. It's going to be a great night. I know the coaches are ready, the team's ready. They've stayed focused all week, pretty much while Miss Moore in the front office have run all the other
Right.
logistics.
Yeah,
So,
it's exciting.
Yeah.
It is exciting.
okay.
All right.
Well,
Well-
we'll go back to you, Coach Hill, to find out a little bit more about this game Friday night.
Thanks, Coach Miller, and congrats to all of our athletes and all of our sports that we have going on, and good luck in the coming weeks between now and when we tape another show in January. And this Friday, as we mentioned earlier in the show, our football team is going to play for a state championship. Friday at 7 o'clock in Arlington, as we mentioned. We've got a chance to win the whole thing. I think every kid in every sport, anytime he or she joins, that's a dream. And our players have worked extremely hard for this opportunity, kind of had it in mind all along. And sometimes you dream of things and you set goals and you work towards them. And sometimes those things come to fruition and sometimes they don't. In this instance, we've been given this opportunity. It has come to fruition. And we're having a good week. It's been an exciting time. The excitement of advancing each round, as we've been able to do, is always tempered quickly by who you have to play and the challenge that now lies ahead. And certainly that's the case this week. As elated as we were to win in the semifinals, we know what a tall challenge we have this week in Alito. And Coach, when we start with Alito, we'll start with their offense. And if they're 15-0 and playing a state championship game, my guess is their offense is pretty darn good.
They're really good. They're not out of the mainstream. They're not real complicated as to what they do. They do what they do. They do it very well. They're very well coached. They don't make mistakes. Their offensive line is solid. They're really good. They want to run the football, and they're very successful at running the football. And then they are going to run the RPO game off of it, the run pass option, where they're blocking a run and play, but they got to throw off of it, similar to what we would do some. And they throw it deep to some really talented receivers. So there's not really a deficiency there, as you would think in a team that's on a 29-game winning streak.
Yeah, they're no strangers to this game. They've obviously been here and then won it a number of times, and it's very well documented about their success. Not really a key area to focus on. You have to be solid every play all day long.
Going to have to be solid all the way around. Quarterback's very dynamic. It really runs through him. So we'll have to contain him, try and figure out a way to keep him in the pocket, and try and get some pressure on him and stop the run.
Yeah.
It'd be a tall challenge, but our kids are excited for the opportunity.
You bet. And of course, defensively, it's probably a little bit same song, second verse. Not trying to trick you on defense.
No, exactly what you just say. It's not a mystery, and they're not trying to be tricky. To their credit, that's probably why they're so good. They're based out of a 4-3 defense, and clearly have a ton of confidence in their corners, and rightfully so. They've got two studs at corner. They kind of put them out there on an island and allow the front seven and the safeties to really play the run, and allows them to be aggressive up front with their D-line and secondary fits because those guys are so good on the outside. We'll have to take the challenge, and I think our kids are fired up for the opportunity to do that. And just do our thing, try to establish the run game and take our shots in the pass game and some one-on-one opportunities and see what we can get done.
Well, and you know, we mentioned their tradition. You know, they've really had a long lineage of head coaches. You know, Robbie Jones, their head coach now, is new. He's a first-year head coach, but you know, he's been on the Alito staff for quite some time. You know, Coach Buchanan established that, then he retired, and Coach Wood, one of his assistants, took it, and the excellence sustained itself. And then Coach Buchanan came back. And they continued to win, and then Coach Buchanan retired, and this time they promoted Coach Jones. So the system and their way of doing things has been in place for a long time, and with obviously great results. So tremendous challenge, but our fans are excited for it. Our community is excited. Our school's excited, and it's been neat to be. Smithson Valley is always a great place, but it's been a neat thing to be around these last few weeks in our playoff run, and culminating with this state championship game that. We have a bunch of people heading north, and we hope that you'll be one of them. And 7 o'clock kickoff Friday at AT&T Stadium. Those tickets can be purchased online. I know there's a lot of ticket links that are floating around Facebook and Twitter and various social media outlets. Get your ticket, get up there to Arlington, and we'll see you there. Go Rangers.